It's going to be Lieutenant David Wilson, and that's Wilson. I'm the commander for the Atlanta Police Department's gang unit. Everybody ready?
There you go.
All right. Yesterday morning, the Atlanta Police Department gang unit, along with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, conducted an arrest warrant at 369 McDaniel Street for Mr. Calvin Bailey. Mr. Calvin Bailey was wanted in connection with two smash-and-grab burglaries that occurred in Atlanta. The first was on April 7th at 2221 Peachtree Road of a Lexus suitcase, and the second one was at 1069 St. Charles Avenue, and that was Threads, Atlanta, and that one occurred on May 11th. A subsequent search warrant of the location turned up multiple handguns as well as numerous electronic devices that were taken in other various crimes throughout Metro Atlanta. The arrest warrant was actually a culmination of the work of the Atlanta Police Department's task force that we put together in response to the smash and grab burglaries that began to occur in the beginning of April and through early May. Along with Mr. Calvin Bailey, Mr. Joshua Harris and Mr. Bernard O'Neill were both arrested at the location and charged as a result of the recovery of the stolen items that were inside the apartment. Again, I'd like to highlight, the excellent work of my task force, of my officers. Obviously, it's a very time-consuming, very labor-intensive investigation, and it is still an ongoing investigation, and we do anticipate additional charges being put against these individuals, as well as additional arrests being made in the coming weeks.
Was there something particular that led you to this suspect?
Actually, yes, we recovered forensic evidence at both locations that led us to the actual arrest warrants that were brought against Mr. Calvin Bailey.
Can you define that?
Just not really. I mean, there was things that will come out obviously as a result of the investigation, but it was multiple things that we recovered on site as far as DNA evidence and some other items that were recovered that led us to Mr. Calvin Bailey.
Did you find anything from the smash and grabs at his apartment other than the guns?
Not that the guns were necessarily related to the smash and grabs, but we did recover some other evidence from other crimes that were actually taking place, including some larceny from autos that actually occurred in the last several days that were found at that location.
Do you think these gentlemen may be responsible for some of the other smash and grabs besides the two that you mentioned?
Obviously, we believe, yes, they're probably going to be connected with several others, but at this time, the only ones that we can affirmatively link them to are going to be the two that we identified. But the only one that was actually charged with the smash and grab burglaries was Calvin Bailey. The other two gentlemen were arrested in conjunction with the recovered stolen items.
What is the belief of what they were doing with the stolen items? How they were trying to get rid of them?
We don't know at this time. I mean, we don't have an idea of what they were trying to do as far as an end game or, flipping that for either a monetary value or if they were just reusing the items themselves personally.
Were any of these guys a part of the Rockdale police chase that took place?
No, they weren't. No, they weren't.
Are you optimistic with their arrests that the number of smash and grabs will go down? I know you guys put together the task force because there's been such a high number.
Actually, we've made other arrests in conjunction with the smash and grabs as well. As there was the Rockdale group that was obviously, they were picked up and locked up, and there were several other arrests that we've made over the last month or so, and there hasn't really been any real smash and grabs as far as the magnitude that had been going on both in this past winter as well as early April through early May. So in the last few weeks, we really haven't experienced that high volume of smash and grabs.
What would your message be to a business owner that's concerned about this type of crime happening now that you've made some prominent arrests here?
I mean, I definitely think that there's a strong message that goes out that the Atlanta Police Department takes this very seriously, and we're going to go out and we're going to do everything we can to investigate and bring the people who are committing these crimes to justice. But we're out there tirelessly working, to bring these people to justice. And if they're committing these crimes, I mean, we're eventually going to catch up to you. It's just a matter of time.
You said the gentleman who was arrested was the only one charged in smash and grabs.
He was the only.
He wasn't working alone though. Were there others? Were these two involved? I mean,
There were definitely others, but at this time, the only ones that we could get, that we would be comfortable moving forward with arrest warrants for were Mr. Calvin Bailey.
All these smash and grabs, is it one particular gang that's doing it?
I don't believe that there's one particular group. There's probably multiple, because if you look at the reports, you'll see different things taken. So we believe that there's probably several different groups that are actually conducting these, raids on businesses. But again, we have our suspects. We're working tirelessly to go ahead and work on getting warrants or making arrests, for the other crimes that have actually taken place.
Was this guy affiliated with this
We're not going to release any of that information at this time.
Talk to me a little bit about the magnitude, because it did seem like for a time there, every day, or sometimes even twice a day, we were hearing about a smash and grab.
There were several days where there would be, we'd experience a flurry. There'd be like, say, 2 or 3 on one day, and there'd be several days that went by, and a few more would actually take place. So they would go out and conduct, there'd be multiple ones that they would do in a string, and then there'd be a little bit of time off, and then come back again. But, again, it's not just, the gang unit or, some other investigative unit. Everybody, the whole Atlanta Police Department was working tirelessly to try and prevent these, acts from actually taking place. So again, it's just one of those things where it just takes a lot of time to put the evidence together, to bring, warrants against somebody, and then you have to actually go out and find those people, which is, very difficult in and of itself.